This episode from the life of Sherlock Holmes was adapted from the original radio drama written by Denis, Greene, and Bruce Taylor, which aired on February 5th, 1945. High-Tech High Mesa Theater Department and Team Lemonade brings you Return to the Radio with Sherlock Holmes. Team MO, the team that brings the best of best podcast, invites you all to tune in to our dear old friend Dr. Watson, sharing yet another one of his daring adventures with the great detective Sherlock Holmes. During these times, I know that we are all in desperate need of some sort of distraction, and High-Tech High Mesa's 10th grade podcast project, produced by Oscar Carrion, is the finest distraction of them all. Take that free time of yours to join Team MMO's exhibition, where they will present a variety of podcasts covering different social issues regarding gender that we face today. If you ask me, that's a great package. You get the distraction you are in dire need of, you're supporting yet another High-Tech High Mesa project, and best of all, you can be part of a project trying its best to educate and raise awareness. Let your friends in on this too, will ya? After all, the more the merrier. And now let's look in on the Dr. Watson and see what a story he has waiting for us. Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening. Take your coat off, and your scarf, and your gloves, and your glasses. That's it. It's certainly raining cats and dogs tonight. Come sit by the fire and warm yourself up.
Thank you, Doctor. All set for tonight's story?
Yes, I'm all set, as you say.
Last week you told us your adventure takes place in the south of France?
Indeed, and if you can imagine yourself basking in the sunshine of the Riviera, with Holmes and myself in the early 1900s, perhaps it'll help you forget what a beastly night it is outside.
I've forgotten that already, Doctor. How does your story begin?
Simple enough, Holmes and I were staying in Nice when we were visited at a hotel by a young Englishman, the Honorable Reginald Shipton. The boy was in serious trouble and had come to Holmes for help.
And I'm sure he got it.
He did, though in giving it, Holmes was arrested for murder.
For murder? Say, Doctor, how did a thing like that happen to the great Sherlock Holmes?
That's just what I'm going to tell you. The boy had become involved with a rather notorious French lady, Madame Corvée. She was much older than he, though I must admit she was a glamorous creature, and the boy's infatuation was understandable. At least, I found it so. Unfortunately, he had given the lady an exquisite diamond and sapphire necklace that was a family heirloom, although he overlooked the fact that he had not yet inherited it.
Then, of course, he had no right to make the gift.
Of course he hadn't, and when his father, Lord Shipton, learned what had happened, he threatened to disinherit him, unless he got the necklace back. And so, the boy came to Holmes with his problem. At first, the great man tried the ordinary methods of handling the case. He approached Madame Corvée directly, and was told to mind his own business. He tried persuasion, deception, he even went to the police, but to no avail. Finally, one night, he disappeared. I was frantic, because I knew he was in danger, and so I got in touch with the police. Within a half an hour, Inspector Shrell telephoned me to come over to Madame Corvée's villa at once, that Holmes was in serious trouble.
And of course you rushed over there.
As fast as a carriage would carry me, my fears increased as I drew up at the villa and saw a cordon of police guarding the building. But as I got inside and saw my old friend, a cold terror struck out my heart. There he was in the library, Madame Corvée lying at his feet, with her throat slashed, and in Holmes's hand was a blood-stained dagger. You can imagine what Monsieur Chirel, the chief of police, said as I came in.
Dr. Watson, your famous friend has made his last mistake.
Great heavens! What is going on? Holmes, tell me!
Madame Corvée has been murdered, Watson, and unfortunately our friend Monsieur Chirel seems to be under the impression that I killed her.
But that's utterly ridiculous!
Is it? Then how do you account for the fact that when we came here just now, Mr. Holmes was standing here alone with the corpse?
Well, Holmes, why don't you explain what happened?
I've already done so, but Monsieur Chirel doesn't seem to believe me. However, for your benefit, I came back here to try and have another talk with Madame Corvée. I found the front door open and walked in to discover the safe looted, and its owner stabbed to death. I picked up the dagger from the floor to examine it, and as I did so, Monsieur Chirel and the police came in.
I should have thought a detective like you, the great Sherlock Holmes, could have thought of a more ingenious lie than that. Take him away to the Surety.
Come along, monsieur.
Tell that policeman to take his hands off you, Holmes.
But I haven't the right to, my dear chap. You see, just before you arrived, Monsieur Chirel had arrested me for murder.
And there my old friend was, spending the night in custody.
And I suppose you stayed right there with him, Doctor?
Not for long. He gave me a little job to do. Let me tell you just what happened. The next morning found us in the office of the prefect of police. There we were, Holmes and I, Inspector Shrell, and various witnesses connected with the case. It was a strange sight as Holmes stood there, defending himself.
Monsieur Sherlock Holmes is an eminent visitor to our country. That is why this preliminary investigation is being held in private. Though he has been caught under extremely incriminating circumstances, let us at least extend him the courtesy of a fair hearing. Proceed, Mr. Holmes. You have told us that you were brought into the case in the first place as a request of the Honorable Shipton. Am I right?
Yes, Madame le Prefect.
Is the Honorable Reginald Shipton present?
Here, Madame the Prefect.
Do you corroborate the evidence so far given by Monsieur Holmes?
Yes, he told the truth so far. But if I'd known then that he was going to murder Madame Corvée, I'd have strangled him myself.
Quiet! Please confine yourself to answering questions. Proceed, Mr. Holmes. What was your next move?
To meet Madame Corvée and try to reason with her.
And how did you accomplish this aim?
My client informed me that Madame Corvée was giving a large ball at her villa that night. I suggested that he take my old friend Dr. Watson and myself along with him to meet the lady.
And did you meet her?
Oh yes, Madame the Prefect. We arrived about 8 o'clock to find a crowd of 150 people or more, dancing to the music of a string orchestra.
A very distinguished gathering, Mr. Shipton. Madame Corvée must be extremely popular.
Too confoundedly popular of my liking, Dr. Watson.
Where is Madame Corvée? I should like to meet her as soon as possible. These affairs are not much in my line.
I think it's rather exciting, if you ask me.
Hello, Reginald. I was not expecting to see you here.
Good evening, Your Grace. I'm sorry to surprise you.
Won't you introduce me to your friends?
Monsieur le Duc de Boncourt, Mr. Holmes, and Dr. Watson.
How do you do? Pleasure meeting you. All here to worship the shrine of Venus, I suppose. By the way, Reginald, I thought you had received your call. From what you've had told me today, it seems that you...
I'm afraid I'm in a bit of a hurry. Good evening, Monsieur le Duc.
Not jealous of me, are you, Reginald?
Upon my soul, my boy, you were extraordinarily rude to him, if you don't mind my saying so.
He's an insufferable old ass, and I can't stand him. He thinks that because Yvette smiles at him for the moment, that he's going to marry her.
The Duke is a current favorite, I take it.
Detective Sherlock Holmes, how are you?
I'm afraid I don't know you, monsieur.
No, but I know you and your friend Dr. Watson.
Oh, really? I don't remember meeting you, sir.
This is Monsieur Cherel, Inspector of the Sûreté.
How do you do?
How do you do?
When distinguished rivals honor my town with their presence, I make it my business to recognize them.
How very flattering of you.
Not at all. You're not here on business, I suppose.
Oh, dear me, no. On pleasure, monsieur. Purely on pleasure.
Splendid. You will find Madame Corvée's parties enchanting, I'm sure. Good day, gentlemen.
Charming fellow.
Do you think so? He's just another old fool who thinks he was in love with him. There's Yvette now. Come on. I'll introduce you. And then I'll get away. I want to talk to her more than I have to. Yvette,
Reginald, how nice to see you. I did not know you were coming.
I changed my mind. Yvette, I want you to meet two friends of mine, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Enchanté, messieurs.
How do you do, Madame Corvée?
I'm extremely glad you meet you, madame.
They want to talk to you privately, so I'll leave you.
Reginald, you silly boy, come back here. He is so young, isn't he? Youth has a charm all of its own, messieurs. But for men like myself, I find it a little trying for too long at one time. It is more soothing to be with people my own age, like yourselves.
Awfully nice of you to say so, madame. But I know we're both a great deal older than you are.
Nonsense. But your friend, he has, how do you say, the long face. What is the matter, Mr. Holmes?
Nothing, madame, except that I'd like to have a little business talk with you.
Business? With this music playing? No, no, no. Your friend shall dance with me.
I shall be very proud to take you for a tour, Madame Corvée.
Forgive me, madam, and Watson, old chap, but I must insist on this business talk first.
Business? You are very tiresome. But because I like your friend, I will talk business with you. Come and sit over here.
The diamond and sapphire necklace you are wearing, madam. I presume it's the one Lord Shipton's son gave to you?
Yes? What of it?
Would you mind if I examine it?
Yes, I do very much. What are you, a diamond buyer?
No, I'm a friend of Mr. Shipton's. He asked me to try and to persuade you to return the necklace to him.
The insolent puppy! It is mine. He gave it to me, in front of witnesses.
He had no right to, madame. It did not belong to him.
Then he is a thief, and that is no concern of mine. He made a gift, and I accepted it.
Would you consider selling back your gift?
No, I would not.
Are you sure? Reginald would pay a fair price for it, and it may have depreciated in value since you've received it, you know.
Go away before I have you thrown out.
I'm awfully sorry, madame. My friends really,
Go away, both of you. You bore me.
Upon my soul. Never seen a woman change her tune so quickly. Fascinating creature, though. If there's one thing I like in a woman, it's spirit.
Rubbish. Madame Corvey's an adventuress.
Why'd you say that, Holmes?
Because although she wouldn't let me examine the necklace, I was able to detect that the diamonds had been replaced by imitations.
Good land, you mean she sold the originals?
Undoubtedly. Sold them or kept them.
Please stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulties. We'll be right back. And now back to the case of the dead adventurers, right here on Lemonade TV.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes, my boy. I was just looking for you. What's wrong?
I want to leave here at once. I've just heard that you're going to announce her engagement to do the book court tonight. I don't want to stay to hear it.
I quite understand. Though if I were you, I'd be relieved rather than upset by the announcement.
What did she say to you when you asked her about the necklace, Mr. Holmes?
Very little, but I have a feeling that you might be able to buy it back for a reasonable sum.
But I've tried that, and she wouldn't part with it.
Try again, my dear boy. I think my little conversation with her tonight might cause her to change her opinion as to its market value.
Very interesting, Mr. Holmes. What's happened next?
Early the next morning, Shipton came round to see me with the information that he had recovered the necklace for a very reasonable sum.
Did you tell him that the diamonds had been replaced?
No, madame, I didn't.
Why not?
I felt that before I told him anything about Madame Corvey with any degree of authority, it was only fair to reinforce my beliefs with facts.
So what did you do?
The obvious thing, after all. I had no official standing in your country, and yet I knew Madame Corvey was a criminal, or perhaps I should say an adventuress. And so I decided to pay a visit to Monsieur Cherel, the head inspector of your local police. After my client left, Dr. Watson and I went round to Monsieur Cherel's office. He seemed to be very pleased to see us.
Ah, Detective Holmes and his friend. Come in. I am very flattered that you come to see me.
How do you do?
Is this a business visit, or am I to suppose that you come here to make my acquaintance better?
A little of both, monsieur.
Please tell me what I can do for you.
Monsieur Cherel, I was not telling you the truth at Madame Corvey's party last night, when I said I was there purely on pleasure.
I was well aware of that.
But how could you?
Dr. Watson, very little goes on in this town that I'm not aware of.
Perhaps you know why I was at the party.
But of course.
And did you know that this morning Madame Corvey parted with the necklace in consideration of a cash payment?
No, I did not know. But it is their own affair. Is their client satisfied with his bargain?
Perfectly. But you see, he doesn't know that the diamonds have been removed and replaced with imitations. I noticed that when I was talking to Madame Corvey last night.
Had you ever seen the necklace before?
No.
How do you know that the necklace ever was valuable? You have said your client is satisfied. What do you wish me to do?
I should like you to investigate Madame Corvey.
Mr. Holmes, Yvette Corvey is a brilliant and distinguished woman. Duels have been fought over her. Kings have paid homage to her. And now, because some stupid English boy has had some trouble over a paltry necklace, you expect me to investigate her? In France, we police do not work without evidence, and I think it will be good for you to remember that fact. Good day.
And then what happened, Monsieur Holmes, after you left Inspector Cherel's office?
Madame le Prefect, I was deeply dissatisfied. I knew in my own mind that Madame Corvée was guilty, and so I decided to pay her another visit.
Why did you go alone? Your friend Dr. Watson had been with you during previous expeditions.
I intended to break into the safe, and I didn't want to incriminate my old friend in such a risky proceeding.
You admit you went in there to break into the safe?
Yes, Madame le Prefect, but of course, when I got there, someone had gone through the safe before me and murdered Madame Corvée.
Please tell me exactly what happened.
I arrived at the villa just after midnight. Perhaps I should explain that the villa is built around a courtyard in such a way that short of smashing one of the ground floor windows, there are only two ways in, a door on the street and a door at the back which opens onto the beach.
And which way had you proposed to try and enter?
From the beach, but as I approached from that direction, I noticed a light still burning in the library, so I circled the house to investigate the chances of entering through the front door with the aid of a skeleton key. As I did so, I noticed to my surprise that the door was open a fraction. Of course, I went in. I tiptoed along the hallway. Everything was quiet. Suddenly, I stumbled over something. It was a body. I struck a match. It was the Duc de Bancourt. At first, I thought he was dead, but when I turned him over, I realized he was unconscious. I decided to investigate a little further, and so I walked towards the library. I opened the door and went in. The lights were on, and I saw Madame Corvée lying on the rug in front of the fire, with her throat slashed and dagger lying beside her. The wall safe near the bookcase was open and empty. I stooped down and touched Madame Corvée. Her body was still warm. Then I picked up the dagger by its blade and started to examine it. As I did so, I heard a rattling at the French windows leading to the courtyard. Of course, it was Inspector Cherel.
Ah, I caught you red-handed.
Please don't wave that revolver at me, Monsieur Cherel.
Madame Corvée, is she...
Yes, she's dead. Murdered.
You did it.
Don't be ridiculous.
Then how is it that I find you along with the murdered woman and the weapon in your hand?
It's very easily explained. I came here to...
Who's that? The Honorable Reginald Shipton. How did you get in here?
The door was open. Yvette! Yvette!
I'm afraid she's been murdered, my boy.
Murdered? But who?
Judge for yourself.
Holmes! Holmes, you filthy!
Don't be a fool. Use a little intelligence.
Yvette's dead. You killed her.
Take him outside. Detective Holmes, before I telephone for your friend, Dr. Watson, I must indulge in a slight formality.
And what is that, Inspector?
I arrest you for the murder of Madame Yvette Corvée.
We'll continue Dr. Watson's story after this short intermission, which is perfect timing for me to remind you all to join TMMO's exhibition and check out the many podcasts created for Oscar Carry-On 10th grade podcast project. We should all never turn down a chance to become well-informed about today's social issues. So take part in this once-in-a-blue opportunity to work with high-tech High Mesa's community to become educated about many different cultural experiences in feminism, masculinity, gender norms, and so much more. And now back to tonight's new Sherlock Holmes adventure. Where do we leave off, Doctor?
We were in the south of France, where we had become involved in a strange case connected with a famous adventuress, Yvette Corvée. Holmes, having failed in his preliminary investigations, has decided to pay a call on the lady, alone and after midnight. But in doing so, landed himself in serious trouble, for he had found Madame Corvée murdered, and himself arrested for the crime.
Monsieur Holmes, we have heard your evidence so far as how you entered the villa and found the body of Madame Corvée. You realize, of course, that your story is entirely uncorroborated.
Yes, I do, Madame le Prefect.
You stated that you found Monsieur the Duc de Bancourt lying in the hallway unconscious as you entered the house?
Yes, Madame le Prefect.
Is the Duc de Bancourt present?
Oui, Madame le Prefect.
What is your own story regarding last night's tragedy?
I had taken Yvette to the ballet. We came back about 11:30. The servants were in bed, but they had left a cold snack for us. Some cold fowl and a bottle of champagne. Just before midnight, we decided to have a little more champagne, so I started off to the cellar. As I came into the hallway, I suddenly received a violent blow to the head, and I don't remember any more until the police revived me.
I see. Thank you, Monsieur the Duke. Is the Honorable Reginald Shipton here?
Yes, Madam the Prefect.
What were you doing at Madame Corvey's villa last night, Monsieur? It has already been testified that you had received your necklace back.
I came over to try and persuade her to change her mind, to throw off the Duke and marry me. When I came to the house, the door was open. I walked in and found poor Yvette murdered.
I see. Thank you, Monsieur. Inspector Chevelle, I cannot help but feel that you have produced a very inconclusive case against Monsieur Sherlock Holmes. It seems to me that both the Duc de Bancourt and the Honorable Reginald Shipton had equal opportunity and greater motive to murder Madame Corvée than he did.
Madame le Préfect, croyez-moi!
But that's ridiculous! I loved Yvette. I'd never have.
Quiet! I did not say that you gentlemen did it. I'm saying that you both had the opportunity.
Madame le Préfect, as I am under arrest, may I have the privilege of proving myself innocent?
Of course, Monsieur, if you can.
I think the identity of the murderer will become obvious when we find the jewels stolen from Madame Corvey's safe. Now, the three people about the time of the lady's murder were searched. Myself, the Duke, and Mr. Shipton here. Am I right, Inspector Sherrill?
Yes, sir, and the jewels were not found, so what does that prove?
One other person that had a motive for killing Madame Corvey was not searched. Yourself, Inspector.
But this is outrageous! Are you accusing me?
Monsieur Holmes, do you realize the significance of what you are implying?
I do.
Very well, then. Proceed.
Monsieur Sherrill, you stated that the beach gate was bolted. How did you find that out?
By trying it.
From inside or outside?
From outside, of course.
I don't believe you. I think that when Dr. Watson telephoned your office, you suspected where I might be going. You hurried ahead of the officers and reached the villa several minutes before I did. You found the beach gate was open. You saw Madame Corvey putting her jewels away as Monsieur le Duc de Bancourt started to leave the room to go to the cellar. You slipped through the windows, signaled to Madame Corvey, who was your confederate, to be silent, followed the Duke into the hall and struck him from behind. Then you went back into the library, killed Madame Corvey, and pocketed the jewels. You started to leave the front way and saw me approaching. Seeing a chance to implicate me, you left the door ajar and ran out the beachway, bolting the door behind you, and waited for your reinforcements.
You have convicted yourself. If you came to the villa after I was there, how could you have known what my movements were?
I admit that this part of my case is only supposition.
But, Monsieur Holmes, that is no evidence.
Of course it is not.
Now I'll come to my facts. Dr. Watson, I wonder if you'd mind stepping forward.
I'm very glad to. In fact, I've been wondering why you haven't asked me before, Holmes.
Will you please tell Madame le Préfect exactly what you did last night, after I was brought here?
With pleasure. Madame le Préfect, my old friend Mr. Holmes told me to shadow Inspector Sherrill as soon as he left the Surety last night. And that's what I did. He walked into the waterfront and entered a small cafe. I watched through the window and saw him give a package to a rough-looking sailor. And a few minutes later, he left. Holmes had told me what to expect, so I followed the sailor. He went out of the wharf. I was behind him with a revolver in my pocket. As he started to get into a fishing boat, I captured him, and also these.
The jewels.
You'll find, Madame le Préfect, that those are the missing jewels.
That is a lie. He is lying to save his friend.
Oh no, I'm not. The fisherman is waiting outside the room now.
Have him brought in.
Henri Bellel has done nothing, only what Monsieur Sherrill pays him to do, and now he's brought into the Surety like a criminal.
Henri Burrell, are those the jewels, the ones that were given to you by Monsieur Chevelle last night?
Oui, ma'am, but you must not blame me. Only do what I am told to do. To sell them to Koziga and give them to Monsieur Sherrill's brother, just as I have done 100 times before.
He lies. I have never seen him in my life.
I lie? Henri Baptiste Bellel, born in your hometown of Villacco. I thought I've known you since you were a boy. For goodness sake, monsieur, what game do you play?
Madame le Prefect, the dagger on the table in front of you. May I show it to this man?
Of course.
Henri Borel, have you ever seen this dagger before?
Mais oui, of course I've seen it. My brother made it. He is the finest sword maker in Jaco. He made it for Monsieur Chevelle.
Look out! Sherelle, he's drawing his revolver! Stop him!
Well, Holmes, she'll solve it for you by trying to kill that poor man. Luckily, officers were able to grab him in time for him to miss the target.
Actually, Watson, it was already solved, thanks to your very excellent sleuthing.
I didn't do much, Holmes. Just what you told me to do. By the way, I still don't understand Cheryl's motive for murdering Madame Corvée.
It was a combination of motives: jealousy at her announcing her engagement to the Duke, and anger at realizing she had replaced the jewels in Lord Shipton's heirloom without telling him. Henri Borel made it very clear tonight that they had been in partnership as smugglers for years.
One of our most unusual cases. You know, Holmes, for a while, I was afraid you're going to end up in the guillotine.
Did you really, old fellow? By the way, there's a certain poetic justice about the case.
In what way?
Did you notice that Sherelle's dagger has an inscription on the blade?
Yes, but I couldn't translate it.
It said, Et erunt mihi in vulnus mortal.
And what does that mean, Holmes?
Let my wound be mortal.
What a wonderful story that was, Dr. Watson. Thank you for sharing.
Well, of course, I do so enjoy these times with you and our friends.
May I make a small suggestion, Dr. Watson?
Why, certainly.
You should work to create these stories into a podcast, possibly even working with our dear old friends from Team MO to make it happen.
Why, what a wonderful idea. It would be an honor to work with these students of Team MO. But, my dear friend,
Yes, Doctor?
you've mentioned that there's an exhibition for the current project.
Yes, Doctor.
But you have yet to inform us on how to join in on it.
Why, how silly of me. Thank you, Dr. Watson.
With pleasure.
To take part in this endeavor to tackle and discuss today's gender matters through podcasts, simply contact High Mesa's humanities teacher, Oscar Carrion, for more details. Then get yourself all nice and comfortable, grab your favorite drink and snack, gather up with the best people to relax with. Remember, the more the merrier, and tune in. You won't want to miss it. Tonight's Sherlock Holmes adventure was performed live and was adapted from the radio drama written by Denis, Greene, and Bruce Taylor, which aired on an incident in the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle story, The Adventure of the Illustrious Client. This episode was directed by Damon J. Shearer and assistant director Isha Ashraf and Stella Moran. With special thanks to Foley artist Ellie Maitland, please take a moment to complete the survey linked in the description below. We would love to hear from you. To enjoy this and other Sherlock Holmes stories, be sure to visit our student-created website where you can listen to these podcasts over and over again. This has been a High Tech High Mesa production.